is Tom Randall from Goldencare, and I know you guys are logging on. And it is 9 o'clock, so we may as well start. We might have some people jumping on afterwards, but Dennis and I have had the pleasure of working together. I'm in my 27th year here at Goldencare, and I had a Randall Training Schools before that with one of my brothers, and basically I've had the pleasure of working with Dennis just about, if not all those years. So Dennis and I go way back, and we've had a lot of fun together, helping work together remotely and together designing policies and helping train agents. And we've both had the pleasure and honor of going out and doing a lot of live seminars for people, consumers. And we've trained obviously thousands of agents through the years. So it's our pleasure to be kind of in charge of this short-term care initiative for integrity. And today's kind of a different day than usual because we have kind of this coach's corner. So I don't have a presentation per se. You heard, if you were on early, Dennis and I were bantering back and forth about should we show our camera faces or how do we want to do this? But at the end of the day, I'll probably jump over to the website. And Dennis, I'm going to let you jump in because this is, I think, where I'm going to allow everybody to open up their mics if they want. And I think what we talked about with this Coach's Corner, we didn't know when we put all this seminar schedule together, how big a group we'd have at this point. We know with AAP, all of our partners who are involved are deep in the Medicare roots, and they're selling other products. And we know you guys get hit with a ton of webinars this time of year. So we knew this was just kind of a taste to touch a few agents out there and try to get them turning the corner to realize how important this initiative is. And Dennis, before I let you in, I'm just, for some of you who've been on my webinars, you know that I show this slide a lot. And especially when you're dealing with short-term care with the easy claim triggers, these stats are so real. I mean, we have so much gray hair in America. I mean, right now there's baby boomers turning 65, 70 faster than you can count. And at the end of the day, the reason we're doing this and the reason we think it's so important is that the numbers really don't lie. 70% of Americans right now are going to need some type of care. Once they're 65, boy, it's almost a sure thing. 70% of them are going to need some type of extended care. And, it may be a shorter period of time or it may be a longer period of time. We don't know that. There's no crystal ball. And for every individual we know, it's 100% or 0%, right? We don't know for sure how much they're going to need, but we know the facts from doing this for so long and being in the trenches with agents like you. If you're a married couple out there, 90% will have at least one of them need some type of care. And if you look at the number of bankruptcies out there, some studies say 3 out of 5 bankruptcies are caused by medical conditions. And most of those people, almost 80%, had medical insurance. So these are things that happen because of all these out-of-pocket and extended care type expenses that people don't think about. And you guys are the line of last defense because 90%, unfortunately, of those Americans have never had a real discussion about how to protect their families. Most people are still out there thinking, well, I'm pretty sure Medicare takes care of everything. I'm pretty sure Medicaid, whatever this government program is, will take care of it, or my health insurance. So we need to educate them a little bit, let them know. And again, it's such a nice service on the convenience side. Even if it doesn't bankrupt them, these type of policies give people choice and dignity and independence. That's so important. So the good news for all of us is, number one, you have built-in clients. Most of you are sitting there talking to Medicare, to your Medicare clients or your life clients, whatever they may be. So you've already built some trust and rapport. And all we're doing with this short-term care initiative is, number one, you helping them by educating them a little bit. And we show you in our sales classes, if you've been on those, how easy it is to do that. And number two, the nice thing is you have the rapport built up, you have the client base there, and there's been a nice swing in the last few years. And unfortunately, it's the only good thing to come of COVID, I think Dennis would agree, is that people are afraid of these nursing homes. They saw what happened and they're kind of like, boy, this is kind of a big deal. Maybe I should talk to somebody about this and try to find a way to stay at home as long as possible, if that's possible, or a good assisted living or whatever the case may be. So again, stats are stats. We know how those work, but at the end of the day is we know the facts don't lie. So that's one of the reasons that we want to make sure we go in there and touch on this. So again, today's not as much about us preaching at you and yapping at you as much as having a conversation. And we teach you that in the sales, funnily enough, that Dennis will teach you about 70% of the time you should listen. So we're going to follow our own advice today. And Dennis, I'll turn it over to you and let you do a little intro, and then maybe I'll open up the mics while you do that, if that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. It's interesting. There was a recent stat that came out regarding nursing homes and how the public perception is, and they it was a report card, if you will, and nearly 50% of those that graded, I guess, nursing homes gave nursing homes a D and an F. So we know that, hey, the progression of care is that, yes, that's why these short-term care, extended care plans, as we like to call them, are important, because they don't just cover the home care side of things where people do want to age in place, but they also take care of that bigger risk and bigger cost, if you will, if someone does progress to an assisted living or to even a skilled nursing home. So we, in putting together this outline that Tom talked about, as far as the webinar schedule, we've tried to rotate in the 3 proprietary integrity products. We've had, I think each of them have had several bites at the apple as it relates to our giving webinars. We have one coming up later today that's on GTL's e-app process, and we just did Wellaby's e-app, and in addition to the product training. So we'd like to hear back and get feedback, because some of you who are on this, and as Tom said, this is we didn't want to put this off. The easiest thing to do is to say, oh, well, let's just wait till after AEP to actually start this in January. But then you get people say, hey, it's OEP, and then suddenly it's spring, and then suddenly it's summer, and then there's never a perfect time. So we're starting the process, and we will be shifting after the first week of October, and we have different emphasis here with our integrity partners, and right now the emphasis has been Medicare. We're going to be switching to the life and annuity players and the wealth management players that are partners, and hosting a very similar format that we just did. So in the event, I had the opportunity yesterday to do a live event, as Tom talked about, with one of our integrity partners, and I talked to them about that shifting market that Tom just had about, because I asked the question, it's not often we get to do just, we do a lot of the Zoom calls, but we don't do a lot of live trainings. And we do and we don't, but not nearly what Tom and I did back in the day when we were traveling fairly aggressively. And so it was really nice, because, you could actually be there, not that you can on the Zoom see people, but and I asked how many in the room had actually sold long-term care, and surprisingly, a lot of Medicare agents that were there had raised their hand that they had. And like a lot of agents, they kind of got out of it when the going got tough. And so this is these products are not the long-term care of yesterday. These products are just so innovative, and they're so streamlined, and they're so the net is so much wider, and we're placing about 90% of the business with these extended care plans, and so it was very kind of refreshing to have that. But Tom's on the site here, and maybe for those of you that either have been on the site or been on some previous calls, we'd like some feedback, because part of this Coach's Corner is for us to do a better job at coaching, and hearing some of the things that you like, or maybe some of the things you said, hey, I wish maybe you'd add in this other topic on your webinar format, because there's a lot to cover from A to Z, and we are certainly receptive to hearing some feedback. So Tom, with that, I guess we could open it up.
Yeah, thanks. And everybody, I put on there that I even clicked ask to unmute. I have no idea what that does. If that pops something on your screen saying feel free to unmute, on the bottom of your screen, usually it's on the bottom left, I believe there's an unmute. And if you guys, tell you what, you can help people around you. Remember how we talk about Zig Ziglar? You can be successful by helping other people become successful. And truthfully, like Dennis said, this is, Dennis and I have done this a long time, so we've got thick skin, even if you have criticisms. But some of you I know are relatively new to this. Some of you might be partners who are kind of checking out the program, even maybe for the first time. So that being said, remember, we don't have to talk about what we've already done if you haven't been part of that. But I would love if you guys unmuted your phones, and if anybody felt comfortable even just saying, here's what I'm looking at. I'm a Medicare agent, or I sell life, but probably Medicare. And maybe you're saying, here's what I'm doing, or maybe you're saying, here's what my agents I think are looking for. What do you guys have that can help with this? Or, well, how can we help agents help people? You know what I mean? I'm stumbling, but you know what I'm talking about is we've got great products, as you can see on the website, and we've got the ability to have any level of care basically in all 50 states for any client you're looking at. We've got at least something to protect them. And if you've been on some of our webinars, we have the home health care only plans that have very, very wide underwriting, so you can just about get anybody who isn't receiving care at the present time and get them some protection, all the way up to these comprehensive short-term care. And again, I'm not going to get into a pitch about the website right now, but we've done that several times where we show for any one of these products, if you click these buttons, it has everything you'll need to know about that product. And this is a living, breathing site. So we're adding stuff as companies come out. For example, Wellaby is our newest incomer here. And Wellaby is coming out, and they're in 10 states, but they're coming out with more marketing materials and more tools to help you be successful. So those will be added to the site as they come. Plus, we have our sales side, which we can't talk enough about. We're trying not to say, and I've said it several times if you've been on our webinars, we're not trying to just throw you out of the plane and hope your parachute opens. We want to tell you, you need to help people, but we're going to help you in the trenches do that. And we have the InstaPivot tool, which is a great underwriting tool to be able to instantly point you to which carriers are available in your area, what the resident state of your clients, and go through the underwriting. And we can show you more of that today if you want, but we have training on that. And we have, if you click on the sales and marketing, a whole separate area of this website that goes through and gives you a bunch of tools to help you be successful. Here's some stats that'll help. And we're constantly creating more tools as we speak. We're trying to come up with some cheat sheets and some little bullet points so you know how to answer objections, etc. But again, I see everybody still on mute, so we've got a shy group here, Dennis. So I don't know, we might make this.
Well, Tom, until someone jumps in, let's go back, if you wouldn't mind, to the product on the site and go over to GTL on the home care. We've usually when we do home care training, what we're doing is we're spotlighting both Manhattan and GTL, and we're kind of putting them side by side. But Tom, I think it might be, I think it might be important, just because the announcement's coming today. This is a proprietary product of ours, and you should know that literally it's just been enhanced, and the enhancement is pretty substantial for this product. And so these are the things that we continually try to do, is we try to make sure that that these products are always improving, that there's and once one carrier takes a lead, we find that another carrier then soon begins to adopt and make changes. And I don't know, Tom, if we want to go through all the changes, but I just wanted to make sure that some who are on this, who may have sold in IB carriers, we should have had a pop-up. We should put together our little pop quiz question. But all these solutions have a place, and there is a method to how we approach the marketplace in terms of and some of you have been on the webinars where we talk about starting the conversation and the 5-step selling process. It's when you get to the step 3, which is in the health area, that's where we begin to make sure you're pre-screening to know. And Tom just mentioned about the InstaPivot tool. I want to just tell you, and I'm going to brag on Tom for just a quick second. That tool, when you get a chance to use it, was developed originally when Tom created it on his own as an Excel spreadsheet, just to get smarter on all the underwriting of all these carriers. And then suddenly, when I started looking at this and others on our team, we said, oh my gosh, let's not keep this a secret. Let's not make this just an internal tool. Let's go ahead and make this available. And we're not in the publishing side of the business. There's people that create tools, and quite frankly, this tool, if you were just not part of the integrity, having a partner that you do business through that's an integrity partner, it could easily be something that would be charged a subscription fee for you to be able to utilize it. But you get this for free. And the power of it is, really, it's Tom was it was his creation, and then the IT team got involved and turned it from just an Excel into a living, breathing tool that is constantly being upgraded from where we first started. And as we add more carriers, and this is just a day one, we have a day two project with this to expand it into some of the other products that we have. But you can just see, for those of you, and I don't know, Tom, if you're in if this is live where you actually can demo a little bit of it, or is it the static? I didn't see. I wasn't watching closely when you were. Did you just log in so that actually you can?
Right. I can do some of it and talk through it. And again, this is one of those tools that, like Dennis said, it's seems really confusing. Some of you'll use it. Some of you'll say, you know what, I'd rather just look at one of the apps and see how easy it is to get people to see the underwriting for these type of products. Like I said, we're very upfront with you. Some of you will be Wellaby fans. Hard to say for some reason. Wellaby fans, where you sell a lot of Wellaby or Medico med sups, and you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to offer this discounted program with Wellaby, and you might use their app and go through, or maybe Manhattan Life. You sell a lot of Manhattan med sups, so you like the carrier, etc. So we know the reality of it. We want to keep it simple and make sure we're very upfront about the fact that as long as you get something in place for these people, you put them in a much better spot than they would have been. But that being said, we do have tools that can help either at the back office level or at the level of, for your agents themselves. But one of the nicest things is very quickly state availability. You click on any state and it'll turn green to show you whether that plan's available in that given state. I've got a few extra carriers showing up here that aren't in our short-term care. And if I don't want to have those in there, I can go up here and I can tell the program which ones I don't want to have involved. For example, if I don't want to have Aetna because that doesn't happen to be in here, and maybe I don't want the critical cash plan, you can see how they disappear as soon as I click them. So if you want to be sharing a screen with the client, for example, and these are the products you have available, these happen to be the ones in our short-term care initiative, you have just those showing for your client. The best thing though, these 45 rows down here have every single health condition for every single product we offer. And you can go in there and click on the health condition up here, and you can put in a certain type of health condition. For example, I'm going to try it. It's sometimes hard on webinars because this thing gets a little bit touchy when I have a lot of bandwidth going. But I clicked on multiple sclerosis. You can see it hides everything else besides the MS. So I can quickly see that, I can get True Freedom, I can get Manhattan Life, I can get GTL Home Care, I can get Manhattan's Life's Omniflex short-term care plan, tier 1. But of course, the full-blown short-term care plans over here won't take MS. Okay, and you can put multiple conditions in there. I could type in another one. Okay, and I can clear that out if you want and go back, and it'll show all my 45 rows again. And then over here, we've got over 1,000 different medications, and you can alphabetize them, or you can just obviously start typing in which med you want, and you can have up to 15 different meds, and it'll verify and show you which of these policies are available. So this is our RDs and marketing support folks here have this open all the time as we're working with agents in the short-term care arena. And a lot of agents who are really rolled up the sleeves on this say, I love this tool. I use it all the time because it makes it very easy to narrow down which products I can offer my clients. So again, I want to stress, some of you on this phone call, this seems like drinking out of a fire hose, and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought this short-term care was going to be easy. Well, this is very easy once you get used to it, but you don't have to use the InstaPivot tool. It's just another thing that we have, another arrow in your quiver, if you will, to make your life easier when you're out there helping your folks who you're doing Medicare's. So Dennis,
And Tom, yeah, and I was just going to say that, and some of it you might do in preparation for a call. Let's say you're going out, you get your Medicare 3 appointments, and you know the ages, maybe you know the history of that client because you've worked with them for years. So it's very easy for you in advance to kind of know, so that you're not on the spot trying to figure out, which carrier you want to talk about. You've done a little bit of your advanced homework. The other aspect for those of you that are doing some Zoom, as Tom indicated, the nice thing is if you want to get it down to 2 solutions, even if you wanted to say, hey, I'm going to talk to you today about Manhattan's home health care standalone and Manhattan's OmniFlux, you can just show those 2. Or, pardon me, if you were actually trying to show just what the lineup is of that's there. And again, as Tom said, this is a little bit busy, and we know in the sales process, you don't want to be, confusing people with too many solutions and everything else. So a lot of this may be done either in preparation for your call, but your marketer that partner that you do business through, that is part of our Integrity family, they may also be who you just normally go to and say, hey, that's who I usually just turn to, and they'll have this tool available to them as well. So it really is entirely up to you as to how you actually handle it. But everything that we have here is really trying to give you a one-stop shop, so that you don't have to go and figure out, well, where's that brochure again for Wellaby, or gee, I love GTL. I saw a lot of the GTL Hospital Indemnity Advantage Plus Elite, and which we do. GTL's been a fantastic partner of ours, and we have been fortunate to have 3 proprietary products actually with GTL: the Recover Cash, the short-term home care, and a product that really has been kind of underutilized that's called Critical Cash, which is built actually on a CI chassis. It's a diagnosis-based product. So when someone gets diagnosed with a covered condition like cancer, heart attack, or Alzheimer, it pays a cash benefit. It's so there's all kinds of opportunities to utilize the various carriers. And then, as Tom was pointing out, we've got some shorter segment trainings. All the recorded trainings of the webinars, which go anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, are listed. But you might say, hey, I just need a quick little thing on overcoming objections, as Tom was pointing out. And I think that one that I happen to do, or Tom and I did this one as a webinar training, but I think there's a separate one that is just on overcoming objections that is under 10 minutes. It wasn't a full-blown webinar. So you can pick and choose how you can actually get smarter, but the topic and take a phrase or take an idea or take a concept and incorporate it into your personality and your approach. We know that maybe the way that Tom says something is going to be different than the way you may say something. Certainly the way I may say something or give some coaching advice, you might say, I don't really like that word, Dennis. I'm going to use this word, but because that's the way I like to approach my clients, and that's all understandable. We don't claim to say that it's we're the be all end all, and that but I'd like to think that all the things that don't work, we're not going to tell you about, and so the things that do work, we're trying to share with you. And that was my point yesterday in this live event, was talking to the agents, and I was talking to them a little bit about starting the conversation and how you do that. And it was, again, one of the last events, pre-AEP events that this partner was having. And so all of this, Tom, is there. And I don't know if anyone has been brave enough yet that wants to jump in and say something. But again, we're trying to make sure that you can hit the easy button on all of this and have all the insights, because as I shared with that group yesterday, I said, you know what, the biggest challenge is for you just to bring it up. If you just start the conversation and just bring it up, you'll be surprised how it will take on a life of its own, because individuals typically have had experiences. And again, it's not the same approach. We don't try to approach it the same way that we have approached long-term care. Some of you know on the calls, Tom and I have had the good fortune of being with an organization that has not only developed products. We took Mutual of Omaha from number 10 to number 1. Prior to that, with Aegon, we had a 15-year relationship with Aegon and really pioneered a lot of the concepts that became successful in long-term care that contributed to us writing over $1 billion of long-term care premium. And so we think we've got some insights as subject matter experts on this because we've been doing it for so long. And that's why, Tom's fingerprints are on, as I said, that InstaPivot tool, and a lot of the influences on those products that you see that we have in our offering are things that we have brought to the care. Some we've been incredibly involved from start to finish. Others we came in and had input, but they're all proprietary in nature to integrity. And so,
hey Dennis, I got a hand up for Lou. I don't know, Lou, if you look like you're unmuted, we'd love to have you jump in. What's up? I see he's unmuted, but I don't hear him, so I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we hear you great.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, guys. First of all, my name is Lou Silva. Actually, yesterday was the first time I had an opportunity to sit on one of your webinars, and I think I'm kind of late at coming to the dance here, but there was just so much info that you guys provided that I'm going, wow, man, I'm kind of like behind the 8 ball, and I'm trying to see how I can catch up between now and AEP, and it almost seems like an impossible task with everything else that's happening. But the question I wanted to ask was, I want to go ahead and take a look at the InstaPivot and just kind of see what it's all about. And I attempted to register as a new user, so I filled in the information, but I'm expecting to get an email or something like that, with login credentials, but I haven't gotten anything yet in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and that is one of those that, because that tool and some of the other things on there, like StratDecisions, a $500 a year membership or licensing or something like that. So there's a few things in that corner of our website that we offer, and the InstaPivot is one of them that we, just from the top down, we heard we have to have a sign in for that. That's the only tool, by the way, in the short-term care initiative that we have to have you actually get a sign in. That is it manually checked, and it's usually a turnaround in literally 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm assuming that you'll probably get the approval real quick. We just make sure that people who sign on to it are people that we know would want to sign on to it, not the competition too much, because we do have some proprietary work put into that little baby. So we just want to make sure, but you should get that very soon.
Oh, sure. Understood.
Thank you, Ron.
And then when you get it, Lou, when you get it, if you have any issues, we have a great support team. I mean, certainly you can email Tom or myself. Probably if it's anything that deals with the tool, we also have Corey. She troubleshoots, and if someone's having some challenges, we've got other support. And of course, we don't want to take away the support you get from the partner, whoever invited you to come on to the webinar, because certainly they're your go-to for day in and day out. But as it relates to using some of the tools that we have available, we want to be able to step in and make sure that you're having a good user experience. And again, I wasn't kidding. I mean, in a former life, I was in the publishing side of the business. I was with a company I was senior vice president of a company called Emerald Publications, which is Emerald San Diego, and Emerald sells subscription on a variety of different services for the financial services industry. And a tool like this, just like Tom said about what StratDecision costs, that we make available for free, and making the InstaPivot available for free, you would literally pay a substantial amount. And not that agents wouldn't pay on their own, but we don't. That's not how we work within our integrity network. As you know, if you're on Medicare Center or on Lead Center or any of the other resources, integrity just makes it available, and that's what we've done here. But yeah, we try it out, and if you have any questions, Lou, and don't feel like you're behind. It's really it isn't that difficult. The main thing is to make sure you're contracted with the various companies to start with, and then make sure that you can go and get help from your the marketing organization that brought you here. We're doing some train the trainer initiatives with our integrity partner teams as well. And don't feel, again, if it's something on the site or whatever that you can't reach out to get some help to, because there is probably low hanging fruit that you could probably start with that are, those existing clients that you may be starting to think, hey, this so-and-so would be a great candidate for me to go back to. Yesterday, just to draw attention to one thing, I had a very experienced agent who'd been with this integrity partner for 20 plus years, and he brought on a new agent. He says the new agent was being trained to just work the cross-selling or packaging of these particular initiatives, the home care and the extended care. And so, if you're wearing both hats yourself, yeah, that can be a little overwhelming. And maybe it's just going to be that you're going to tee up during the course of AEP, just tee up the idea that you are going to come back and get a date on the calendar to come back after AEP so that you've got follow-up meetings to fulfill on. But remember, the great thing about being able to sell this during AEP is that you get paid on this business during AEP, whereas you're right now building up all those sales for it to have a payday, after AEP. And so this can actually be something that can be, that you can be receiving right now as well from an income standpoint.
You bet.
I appreciate that, guys. So if nothing else, as a starting point, I am contracted with the three carriers that you guys have pointed out here.
What state are you in, Lou?
I'm in Texas.
State? You're in, oh, perfect. Yeah. Texas is a great, a great state. And, certainly you should have some really good opportunity with all three of those particular products. And
hey, Dennis, one of the things, and thanks, Lou, I love to have a little bit of input like that. If anybody else wants to jump in, that really helps, because he did talk about, drinking out of a fire hose, going, boy, it just seems overwhelming. And I love what Dennis said about it. At least tee it up, because that's the nice thing. If you go to any of our trainings, and again, we have all these on the site so you can see if you missed any. And maybe for Lou, I'd say, at this point, be picky about which ones you spend your time on the product side, because you'll have to pick out one or two and spend the time there. But look at some of these trainings. I thought, Dennis, for Coach's Corner, you show your playbook, right? So as a coach, we look at it and say, starting back on September 6th, we started out showing some product training. This is always a good one. STC 101 talks about just kind of an intro to short-term care, talking about some of the differences so you can kind of understand. We talk hard in that one about short-term care is one of the worst names out there for your clients, because long-term care is out there, but they didn't know what to call these plans that are a little bit shorter than long-term care that can pay for years and years and years. So they called it short-term care just by default almost. And what happened is a lot of smart Americans and a lot of your clients are looking at short-term care, and in their mind, they're thinking, well, these are little 90-day plans maybe that help you if you get out of the hospital for a few days. And we want to let you know, short-term care is super flexible. We can design these $1 million plans that are huge, robust animals. And on the flip side, we can design really small plans that are super affordable and can basically fit the budget of anybody. So that's a good one to hear. Here's a GTL product. Here's home health care only, where we talk about the different home health care only plans that are great because of the wide underwriting, remember. Then we have Start the Conversation. This is a partner webinar that we did just for our partners, the integrity partners themselves, the back office, talking about establishing why you do this. And if you're on this call, you probably already know that, right? Persistency, right? Once you help Americans, plus you keep persistency and you make more money because you're helping people. But Start the Conversation. Dennis goes in.
Hey, Tom, do that. Hover over that again, because I think some people, when they're looking at that schedule, don't realize that we give them the detail of what that webinar is going to cover.
You bet. Sorry. Good job. Yep. And if you hover over this is the actual presentation calendar that some of you may not have seen because it was more for our partners, but it is a nice way for you to know that all these are on there. And as we go through this today, remember, Start the Conversation. we teach you literally how easy it is to say, finish up every cell. Don't take away from what you're doing every day and you're successful at it. All we're doing is one additional step that is so close to your comfort zone, it'll scare you. It's so easy to do, because all you have to literally do sometimes is as simple as saying, hey, by the way, before I let you go, I got to ask you, do you have your extended care needs taken care of? And that'll start a conversation. And that's literally how easy it is. And on some of our webinars, we talk about the fact, and I won't make Dennis go through the story today because of time, but you know what? He went to a seminar, or excuse me, a convention, I guess. And in 5 minutes over breakfast, he turned somebody's head and basically had all their information and had them basically confirming, we definitely want to buy a policy like this. That's how easy it is to turn people's attention to it, because they're starving for the information. They just don't tell you that. You know what I mean? It's something they need to know. So
Hey, Tom,
again,
scroll down. Would you mind scrolling down just a little bit on that calendar so we can see, like what Lou said yesterday? We did the overcoming objections. Today's Coach's Corner. Tom's going to lead the discussion this afternoon at 1 on the OmniFlex e-app on the quoting, and we've worked really closely with Manhattan on that, you know, to make changes and to. I mean, I can't tell you how many hours in particular Tom has worked with their IT department. You'd like to think every carrier that we work with just out of the box can plug and play, but I think if you've been around this business a while, you probably know that that's just not the case. You can't. You've got to lead them to improve the process and to make it strong. And that's certainly what we've done with this e-app process. And I think if you get a chance to get on that, you'll really enjoy. Tom is I'm always amazed, because when Tom goes through that, he's navigating that, and you might feel like, oh my gosh, this guy's a pro. Don't worry, because we've got, again, as I mentioned, Corey and some others on our Goldencare team are there to support. If you're struggling once you get onto Manhattan's portal and you can't remember how you actually saved the case, or can't remember some of the steps, we're there to help you on all of that along the way. But the e-app is very intuitive, and it'll be a great webinar today at 1 o'clock Eastern.
You bet.
Guys, I just wanted to say that the approval email just came in, so thank you for that.
Oh, good.
Well, hey, Lou, that's a great testimonial that actually our system works.
I know, I like it.
Thank you.
We like that. If you would come back and say, hey, I got a glitch, and they said I have to reapply, then we wouldn't have wanted to hear that on this call. But I
had no doubt it was going to come in, but I just want to give you a heads up.
Yeah, no,
appreciate that.
That's excellent. I think you'll really like that. And again, not that, as Tom said earlier about being scared on the underwriting side. A lot of times in the Medicare, if you haven't had a long-term care experience or have experience with that, you kind of get a little bit concerned about that. But these questions are straightforward on the underwriting, and all the tools that we have, in addition to that InstaPivot, we have a medication list with Manhattan. Wellaby is going to be coming out with their underwriting guide. It's not out yet because the product is new. So we've got all of these things that can help you to get comfortable. And really, it's after you swing that bat a couple times, yeah, you might feel like you're going to swing and miss, and gee, I didn't connect, or I fouled, I had a foul ball. But man, you start hitting some singles, and before you know it, you're hitting some doubles, and again, I would never focus on what it is that you're selling. As Tom said, these plans can be so robust, but they can also be skinny down to just fit into the budget, where someone just says, hey, my budget's $25 a month. What can you do for me for that? Versus someone who says, hey, I can spend $150 a month, or what have you. It's really about servicing and giving people that peace of mind. And in some cases, you're just trying to make sure that they're protected. The level of protection is really based on the underwriting, and it also could be based, again, on that elasticity when it comes to affordability.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Lou, and appreciate you jumping in again. That means a lot to us. And at the end, we'll wrap this up probably today, unless somebody else has something that they want to add to the discussion. But I do want to let you know, you know, anybody who knows Dennis and myself know that we're passionate about this. This is something that, you know, I used to love doing those live seminars. I always say webinars because I'm so used to it. The live seminars, and long-term care got to the point where there were so many people out there that we just couldn't help. And it was frustrating at the end because it was like, man, I'm trying here, but we're having a 50% decline once we get the older folks. But you finally have a solution, you guys, and I can't stress enough, you finally have a solution that'll help your clients out there. So please step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And remember the 60-90 rule on sales, where you don't have to sell it right during AAP. You can just plant the seed and come back, like Dennis said. So I'm going to cut that short because I would have gotten impassioned speech that would have bored you all to tears. But I'm going to turn it over. Ken, I see you have your hand up. Ken, would you like to chat?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, fellas. Thank you for all this great information. I'm based here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and my main market is D-SNP. So my question would be, who would be my target market for these products? Would it be D-SNP or just MA only clients?
Yeah.
Great question. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, it comes back to providing people with some coverage versus, you know, they may not be, if they're an MA client and maybe they're choosing the MA just because it's, you know, the nature of the zero premium, realize that, you know, you can go all the way down on some of those standalone home healthcare plans. We're talking about a entry-level plan for they're in 5-year rate bands, so I just want to caution you on that. But they can go down for a 65-year-old down to $16 a month. So you can pretty much help someone at any budget level that they have. And the main thing is, you know, people are looking for peace of mind. They're looking. Most seniors today have been priced out of, or they've been underwritten out of the solution. So some of them have given up, and it really is an underserved market. And not. I'm not saying this about anyone on this call when I say it's underappreciated. I'm talking about the senior population in general is underappreciated oftentimes because areas like this, you know, we don't pay attention. We're so focused on Medicare, and we're focused on, you know, dental, vision, hearing, and maybe hospital indemnity, some of these other areas. So
yeah, and one of the things I'll add to that is I show these little home care plans here because they are so super affordable. One of the things Dennis and I have trained for years and years and years, and your question leads right into it, is the fact that, remember nest eggs, how they work. People are they work hard for their nest egg, a lot of them. And one of the things agents tend to forget is that whether I have a $50 million nest egg, a $5 million nest egg, or a $50,000 nest egg or less, it's still my nest egg. And that's one of the things we teach people is, boy, these plans usually give you choice and independence, and they give you guidance at the time that's a scary time for your family. But just as importantly, you know what? They really do. Those bankruptcy things are real. It takes $18,000 sometimes to bankrupt somebody and put them over the edge where they just can't do it. And that's what these plans can do for you, is step in there and keep them out of facility longer. We used to have a stat, Dennis, I don't know if you remember, I think it was from Notre Dame and Rothschild Institute from years and years ago, that said if you get as little as 2 hours of home care a week, you can sometimes keep people out of a nursing home for an extra year. It's how little care you need at home sometimes to be able to really help people delay that when they're in the custodial care situation. So go ahead.
And remember this too, Tom, that these policies, there's no coordination of benefit. They will pay regardless of Medicare would have paid. They're going to pay in addition to that. So it really is, again, I can't emphasize enough what Tom just said about the idea of protecting their assets, whether small or large, and also the choice and control, you know, because if they end up spending down and now they're in a situation where the government has to dictate to them where they're going to get care, you know, delaying that process, maybe inevitably they might end up in that situation. You know, maybe they have a plan, and maybe this plan, because it's a 360-day or 365-day benefit period. And remember, care doesn't happen every day. So that 2-day-a-week situation that Tom said could stretch out, and that what seemingly is a 1-year plan might end up being 2 or 3 years as a result. And then ultimately, it may delay that inevitable that they are going to have to, because they're maybe closer to the line where they would be more eligible. It's not the spin down when Tom says someone that's worth 50,000 goes a whole lot faster than the spin down when someone's worth 5 million or a million or 500,000. So keep that in mind. And these premiums, I think the question that came in, Tom, are they level for life? The short-term care, these are unisex rates, and these premiums are level and guaranteed renewable. Could a carrier increase the rates? Yes, they have that opportunity to do that. We don't think short-term care is going to experience anything like what long-term care experiences as it relates to rate increases or change in there could be changes in future plans that have different pricing. But on the home care side, those are in 5-year rate bands. So someone who is 61, it might be 61 to 65, then it's 66 to 70, and that's how they go up. And and then if you just click on the site to learn more, you'll be able to click on the rates and the brochure, and you'll see how that is.
And again, that's just for these home health care over here that have those bands. And it's not a bad thing. It just makes them very affordable at the time of purchase, realizing that they're gonna inch up. The short-term care full-blown plans are level premium based on the age that you buy the policy. And Dennis, you correct me if you're wrong. I'm sure you don't know of any either. I don't think short-term care has ever had a rate increase.
No, there hasn't been some.
Yeah, and they're guaranteed renewable, but these are what we call design benefit plans. So if you're familiar with long-term care, some of those legacy blocks of business had really significant rate increases. We don't see that happening with Omnif or excuse me, with the short-term care policies, because those are much more understandable of what the risk is for the carrier. So we're hoping that it'll just be designing new plans at higher rates in the future for new policyholders.
What state was it, Ken?
Ken,
yeah, South Carolina, was it?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Oh, hey, I was just in Winston-Salem. I was at one of our other integrity partner events. That's where I actually had that conversation, as Tom said, with someone less than 5 minutes. I don't know if you were at that event, but
yeah, I was there.
Oh, okay. Then you heard me kind of share that story, and and where I talked about taking that Savers kind of like a Yeti to that individual. It was her pre-enrollment gift.
Yeah.
But hey, Tom, if you don't mind, I know we're bumping up against the time. I wanted to tell just a quick little story that happened some years ago, because I think there's some merit to this about what can help agents the most outside of thinking about the product knowledge. So if you'll bear with me just for a minute, I'll give kind of the Reader's Digest version of this, if that's okay.
You bet.
So I was doing a seminar in Seattle some years back, and we had one of the individuals attended. I was telling the story about one of our agents who happened to be very strong in the long-term care association business. He had written with this relationship with this very large, well-known name association, literally $3 million a year of long-term care premium every year for a number of years. And this agent was just enamored with that and said, Dennis, I want to go and learn what this agent is doing. So I sent the agent to see his seminar, and he came back, and when I asked him what he thought, he was kind of a little bit snarky. He said, I didn't really think that guy really was all that good, and blah, blah, blah. And, I think I know as much as he does. And, and this kind of continued on. And so I said, okay. And I finally called him out and said, tell me, did you learn anything at all? Did you learn anything at all? Because you were the one asking me to connect you to go see this individual who's been super successful. And he said, yes. And he called the individual by name. He says, he has something, the one thing I don't have. And I said, really? I was kind of surprised. Okay, you're going to acknowledge your weakness here. What is it? And he said, he has passion. And what Tom said earlier about passion, when you get this product and these products in your veins, it becomes a whole lot easier to get into other people's veins, because they see that. They see your passion, and that passion can certainly override any shortfall in knowledge or anything else as it relates to, the ins and outs or using the InstaPivot tool or anything else. So I would just say, if you just be your best self and have that enthusiasm, that at the end of the day, you'll be very surprised. And although this individual was very accomplished, that point that agent made, who was looking at this individual who had great success, he saw that when he saw this individual deliver that workshop that he attended. So I just wanted to share that with you, Tom, and share it with the group, because I think that can help all of us to remember, just if we really have a servant's heart and go out with a real intent of helping people, and we're passionate and believe that this is something that they need to have, again, everything else will take care of itself. The knowledge curve, you can learn that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good point, Dennis. And right on top of that, you guys, and we won't keep you here much longer, I promise, but right on top of that is, remember the fact that you don't have to go to med school. You don't have to feel like you know every one of these products and every moving part in every product out there. Remember, don't let that fear stop you. I know a lot of agents, if you look at the stats, it can be scary sometimes. Some stats say 48% of agents do a presentation and they don't even ask for the close. They forget that final important step. Well, with you guys, same thing. Have a little bit of passion. Realize you're really helping people, and don't be ashamed of telling your client, you know what, I'm going to tell you the truth. This isn't even my major wheelhouse, but I've got a great back office support. Contact the marketer you're working with who sent you to this webinar. And through them, that's what Dennis and I are given our commitment at here at Goldencare, to say, we want this integrity short-term care initiative to really work for your clients. So if you feel like, you know what, I'm going to look into this, I have your information, again, Jim and Patty, I'm going to go and talk to somebody who really understands this, a specialist, and we're going to put together some ideas for you, if that's okay. And then we'll come back and readdress this, because the most important thing is I want to protect you and your family. Does that sound fair? Even if it comes to that is so much better for your clients than just walking away saying, well, I don't feel like I know it well enough and I don't want to look dumb, so I'm just going to not bring it up, because trust me, they need your help. That being said, that's probably as good a conclusion as we can get for this. Dennis, unless you have anything else to add?
No. Hey, thank you everyone for joining in. We know that you're busy and everyone's ramping up. We hope you have a great AEP, and we hope that you'll just remember that take the initiative, just to, as we said, just to bring it up. And Tom just gave some great counsel on there's a lot of smart people that you have the opportunity to turn to, that advise you to be on this call, and they were certainly are there to help you as well, and to get you ready, and maybe in some cases they might even be joining a call with you. I mean, depending upon the marketer that you're working with. So we know that you've got great resources. We want to make sure that you know that we're committed to helping. So thank you very much, everyone.
You bet. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for jumping on, taking your valuable time. And remember, we're here to help out as well. So contact us if you need some help. And otherwise, see you on a webinar soon, I hope. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye for now.
The next step is yours. Contact your marketer for more information and to start offering short-term care solutions to your clients. And be sure to sign up for our other short-term care hot topic webinars.